anything else.
Oh, we're good.
Wait now. Okay, so we are. Yeah, we're live on everything apart from Instagram.
Sure, look, we'll make do.
Oh, look, we tried, guys, we tried. And so, first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome back. I have the absolute honour yet again of getting to chat to Laura. Love getting to chat to Laura. But I was just explaining there for anybody that's trying to look at Instagram. Unfortunately, StreamYard and Instagram seem to be having some kind of a tiff at the minute and it's not really working. So I will download this and upload it again to Instagram so everybody can have a little look back and a little watch of it. And again, I would just like to thank our sponsors, Turstar, who very kindly sponsor all of our Double D's podcasts. Laura, how are you? What's the crack?
Not too bad now. How are you?
I was going to say, I am demanding the whiskey, Laura, because that is sunglass. Yeah.
Straight from Ireland.
Couldn't be any other way. I wouldn't have doubted it for a second, Laura. I love it. Look, I know that the majority of our community know who you are, Laura, and have read an awful lot of your amazing articles. But just for anybody that hasn't seen you or hasn't come across you before, you give us a little brief introduction as to who Laura Jackson is.
Yeah, so I'm Laura Jackson. I am 30 years old, Irish born and bred, but moved to Austria about 7 years ago. I manage a show jumping yard and former showroom. I have kind of stepped aside, so mostly at home now, which is actually quite exciting. But yeah, mostly just shovel shitter, pony patter, and that's pretty much me.
I love it. And come here, a lot of the topics, well, a lot of the articles that you wrote about, the honesty and the openness, Laura, have just been absolutely amazing. And you speak an awful lot about your mental health. And I'm in awe. I'm in absolute awe. Like I know I'm very open to a certain extent, and I will openly tell people that I struggle, but I struggle with a smile on my face, which is not really being honest at all. Like, but what made you decide you wanted to write those articles?
It's a really good question. I suppose when I was initially in hospital, which is actually coming up to the 5th anniversary now, but basically 5 years, it was actually nearly 5 years ago I went in. And I just found when I was in there, like I found it really hard to verbalize how I was feeling. I just couldn't get the words out. And I suppose while I was in there, I started like writing letters and stuff, and I found it easier to put it on paper. And while I was inside, I kind of started doing a little kind of blog, like personal blog, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I kept it to myself for a long time. And then I suppose I used to get these like bursts of confidence, and still now to this day I'm the same. Like I'll have 1 week where I feel like I have a lot of confidence, and then for like 4 or 5 weeks after, I'm kind of gone a bit quiet again. And I suppose that's just me. But I suppose I saw Equitas being advertised, and I was like, sure, why don't I just pick something out of like all the articles that I had kind of written that was a personal collection. And yeah, I entered I submitted one of them, and yeah, I was picked. And actually, when I was picked, I was kind of like, oh shit, what have I done? You know, I was like, I think I didn't expect Equitas to actually get so big. And then when I realized how big, I wasn't really thinking. I just did it, and then it's probably better I just do things and don't think and worry about it later. But yeah, I was just like, but look, it's actually been great fun, and I really enjoy it, you know. And it's such a great
And
community.
what was the external reaction from people? Because sometimes when we're really honest and open, and like as you say, that's what we want in Equitas. Like that's what we want to be, the space for people to be able to vocalize and give women a platform. But sometimes even with the kind of, I'm going to say on the line articles, like my non-fluffy ones, say, I will find that people, they tend to get a little bit awkward around me afterwards. And I don't know if it's because they don't know what to say, or now I also could be highly projected because I'm so socially awkward. I probably don't know what to say either. But how are the people around you? Especially say maybe people that wouldn't have known the history or the past.
Um, I suppose like there's been no backlash from it. Everyone has been
Yeah.
really kind, and there's been really nice comments and messages, and it has been really nice. I suppose like what initially scared me in the beginning was like I wrote these things and then they were out in public, and God forbid, what if it affected me in the future when I wanted to get a job? And then, I just had this whole, it was nearly like I was actually just making like this stigma thing up in my head, I was, uh,
No, I
I
think
suppose
that's
that,
valid. No, like definitely you'd be thinking of the future and what people are going to look back
yeah,
on, or what's that digital footprint? Isn't that what they call it?
yeah, I suppose what it was when I was in that moment, I didn't really see a future. And then when I started to see a future, I was like, have I just
Ah,
ruined my future now? You know what I mean? I'm like, have I actually just messed that up? So then actually I ended up taking all the blog articles down from my own like private thing, and I
mhm.
kind of went a bit quiet again. And um, but actually, I think it's been talked about more in the last 4 years, and I think more people are getting on board now that it's more spoken about, and I suppose it's not as scary because actually I'd say 7 or 8 out of 10 people probably at least have either know somebody who has suffered or suffer themselves, or so there is a lot of people, and people are talking more now, which is fantastic.
Isn't that in itself brilliant though? Like I know the amount of people that have spoken to me about your articles, and even talking about not even necessarily, like part of it obviously will be about what's in your articles, but how proud they are of you. Do you know that you were able to do that, and you had decided that you were going to put it out there and start conversations, and like people, and this is people that I wouldn't even particularly know, that just know me from Equitas and just want
Yeah,
to come in and have a chat about it. And even that much in itself, I love the fact that you're starting conversations. You're opening these things. And it might be that, somebody isn't overly comfortable, or a bit like yourself. They don't know what way to phrase it. They don't know what words to
yeah.
put on it or how to, and I get it. Like I can fully appreciate, like, I reckon probably one of the worst times of my life. Like I'm going to say probably one of the hardest times of my life, right? If
Hmm.
somebody, the way somebody would say to you, like, "How are you?" I'm grand. That was my
Such an
go-to.
Irish thing. Yeah.
Grand. Sure, like, what's wrong with me? I'm alive, but food in the fridge, like, good up,
Yeah.
grand. And when I think about it now, like I was crumbling, like there was no, but I was grand. And it's such, you're right, it's such an Irish perspective on things. And it's unless you have like a broken limb or something externally obvious, it's
Hmm.
really hard to explain what's going on in
It's
there.
really hard. And like it also like the week before I came back to Ireland, like I was at a show, I was grooming, I was still working away as normal. And
Hmm.
then I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. Like I actually need, and like obviously prior to that, I had went back to Ireland and I had been seeing a doctor, and like
Yeah.
so I'd been starting things, but I was like, I actually really can't do this. Like I need to get out of here now. And so then I ended up going home. But with the whole letters thing, that actually started as even that was a personal thing with me and my mum because I couldn't verbalize how I was feeling. Like I had
Okay.
basically kept it a secret from my entire family. I was traveling home to Ireland. I was making excuses for why I was leaving the house to go away for a couple of hours to go to Cork to see my doctor, and I just felt so ashamed by it, and I didn't want anybody to know. And then it wasn't until I was still on my mum's VHI policy, so I had to call her to see if I was actually covered to go into PATS in the first place. So then I had to let it spill eventually. So
This is also such an Irish thing, like, hey, man. Like,
You couldn't write it, but yeah, I just found writing really, really therapeutic, and it just really helped. And yeah, I just kind of and it's actually kind of, it's a bit sad that I haven't been writing a lot recently. I just kind of forgot about it and just kind of was trying to just go about life, and
But isn't that the nice thing about writing? Because it's always there. You
it's
can
always
always
there.
pick
Yeah,
back up a pen. It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
like, oh yeah, there's all the lads are always slagging me here because you know me well enough now at this stage, or IAC squirrels. I'll be in the middle of a conversation and I'll start to hunt a new one because my mind goes a million miles an
Yeah,
hour. But if I
yeah,
sit down with a book, right, and if that book catches me, like I'll have to finish it. I can't like even with the audiobooks, like Claire was laughing at me today because I lunged an extra horse because I wanted to know what happened in the last chapter of the book. Like, yeah, I said, no, I'll take that one.
I'll
You're
keep going.
fine.
I'll keep going. Yeah,
But it's what I love about it because even like we're doing a lot of the community posts at the minute because we want to honor you, obviously enough. We want to honor the people who've given up their time and the very limited time that we all have and are writing for Equitas and building our community. And like, what did I look at the other day? There was 700 and something odd articles. I'd be lying if I said exactly what it was. I think it was 730 or something articles have been published over the last 3 years. And like, they're amazing. Like there is
yeah,
articles in there that would blow your mind. Like I
yeah.
love it. And I love looking back on it and going, oh, like, remember that lady from
Remember
America? I
that?
must give her an email again now. Or I wonder what happened to that horse. Or I wonder, and like and I know it's so narcissistic, but I think one of the very first articles I wrote, no, it wasn't the first one, it was one of the very first ones. It was how I would advertise myself if I was for sale. And I still giggle every time I read it. Every time I would pass the vet, I'd have sweet itch. I would be a chestnut mare. I'd be fiery. But it's that kind of, when you get in that,
Yeah,
like, things are getting hard and you need to lighten things a little bit. Like, there's such a lovely mix there. Out of
there is.
curiosity,
Yeah.
how would you sell yourself? If you were going to write an
God,
advertisement for yourself as a horse.
I'd say at this stage I'd probably be on the truck to the factory, like, like I'm crippled. Like that, or I'd just be retired in a field, one or the other. Like you couldn't sell me.
Into a field. Be a happy hacker, you'd be Muireann. Fine.
I don't even know if I'd make it as a happy hacker. Like I'm a bit gimpy. Like.
Come here, how is your back?
It was doing fine, but like I had quite a bit of nerve damage in my lower back, and I just thought it would stay like that, But actually, apparently, when your nerves start to they basically start to repair themselves. So now if I turn certain ways, or I might just get like a lot of burning sensation or tingly, which is kind of annoying. But yeah,
Okay.
so I better go check in to go visit someone, just to get a
Yes.
second
What,
opinion. Like I'm sure it's fine, but it's just
was it Christy, I think. Somebody had a post up yesterday and it was like will I book the physio appointment that I've needed for 6 months, or will I buy the matchy saddle pad and something else set that I don't really need?
matchy matchy. Yeah, of
You
course,
see that?
priorities. Yeah, I'm
Right
terrible for. I'm like that typical like Irish, like I want to say child, but I know I'm 30, where I can't like call the doctor for an appointment and their mother has to do it. So I'm
Oh,
a bit like that with the.
Laura, I will be 40 in 2 weeks and I still ask my mommy to do stuff for me. Like I am
Okay,
brutal.
I don't feel so bad though. I don't feel so bad
No,
then.
I am terrible. Like even I got post today and I had to video call my mommy and be like, what's this? What do I do? Do I have to go somewhere and speak to someone? Like shocking. Poor mom. It's a good job she actually tolerates me, to be fair. I'd have to pay an accountant or something, otherwise then I'd be absolutely scuppered.
Sure.
So come here, what was or was it a conscious decision to move abroad from Ireland? What was the turning point as you decided you wanted to start somewhere new?
Honestly, I think in my early 20s, I think my mental health was actually already getting bad. I just didn't know it.
Okay.
And I found myself getting burnt out really easily and just lots of different things. And I was like, okay, I'm deeply unhappy. I just need to do something else. I need to go somewhere else. Or I need to, instead of actually addressing the problem, which I probably should have done, I was just like, I need to go do something else. And yeah, it was I don't want to say it was an impulsive decision. I just got talking to a friend and they were like, there's a position in Austria. And I was like, don't really want to go there now. And they were like, sure, look, sure, just try it there for 3 months. And then sure, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I really don't think I want to do that. And I ended up here and hated it. Absolutely hated it for the first like 2 months. And ended up coming home. I'm sure I was home a week and I was like already like, oh, I think I actually want to go back again. So I went back and sure I've been here 7 years now. So I was
And
just
what was it
disappointed.
about it? Was it just that it was a different place and different culture? You didn't know very many people. Like, what was about it that you didn't like?
Oh, I had no idea where in Austria I was going. I didn't know who I was going working for. I just trusted my friend, like she was training them. So I was just like, yeah, here's look, we booked your flight for you. You fly out this day. I was like, oh, sound. Sure, packed my
What?
suitcase and
And what age were
I
you,
mean, it
Laura?
was a very 23. Just turned 23, I think.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Yeah, I mean, I had the intention of going for like 3 months, so it wasn't the end of the world. Like, but
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
sure, once you get into it, and actually, like my horses are so great. So, like it's a nice yard, and um, it's in a very like it's in the countryside, and it's very quiet. Like you come into work in the morning, and all you hear is the birds chirping, and there's
Oh,
like just no noise, and it's heaven.
oh,
Um,
isn't that gorgeous?
so
Like you could be
yeah.
anywhere in the world listening to that. Like it's just that and the sound of horses eating hay. You know, when the barn is
Oh, it's the
quiet.
best thing. Yeah, and horses eating. The best sound. If someone next to you is eating a pack of crisps, you're just gonna like
Oh,
take it off
yeah.
and throw it on it.
You flick them out
Wring
of
them
your
up
hand,
by the
but give
neck.
me a horse eating any day. Oh
Literally.
no, I
Yeah.
love it. So what was initially like I know, say, like the first couple of yards that I would have worked in Ireland when I went in first, I would have been very, very nervous. And that was
Mhm.
even English speaking. What was the first day like?
Well, I was lucky because actually, so our yard is mostly English speaking.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, by our yard is me, my rider, and our family all speak English, and then there's one girl who had to learn English over time because my German wasn't good enough in the beginning. And then we have a Hungarian guy in his 50s who speaks no English. So of course, I spent my entire time learning German from him to find out that actually he's not speaking German. He is speaking his own version of it. So, so I was fluent in whatever the hell he was speaking. And sure, I thought I was great. Like I was having these conversations,
Well,
and
what, like,
but,
do you have
but
any idea
basically,
what language you were speaking?
oh, there was words of German, but like the connecting words were missing. Like the connecting words were just random, either sounds or maybe there was Hungarian. I don't know, right? But so, like, obviously, when you work with horses, you're going to have the same phrases, like take the
Yeah,
horses from the walker, or clean the stable, or do
yeah,
so.
you
Like,
have
I kind of got
set.
those down to a T. But like, I'd say if you actually took those phrases and translated them into German, it would just be like clean, stable, and then I don't know what the hell was in between it, like, or like or like yeah, I'll take the horses from the walker. It's probably like bring horse. Like it was just so I thought I was great. I was like, geez, I'm really picking up this language, like,
It
just to
works for
find out
you
that, yeah.
and you know what you're saying, and there's a lot to be said for that. to be
Well,
fair.
that's just it. Like we can still communicate, and sure we get the idea. And like worst case scenario, he'll Google Translate me a message, and he'll text me, and or vice versa. Like he's a great guy, and actually it's nice to come in. You know, he comes in the morning. Like I actually don't think I'd enjoy the job half as much. Like we don't speak the same language yet. Everyone's cheering and singing, and you know, it's just a nice vibe. You know.
Isn't
So
that lovely? And like that says an awful
yeah,
lot about you as well, Laura. Like there's a
ish.
lot of people that would no, but it does because there's a lot of people that would struggle without that, that would want to have,
Oh, I'd be
those.
lying if I said I didn't struggle. Like my first year or two there, I would do nothing alone. I actually stayed mostly in the yard and I relied on a lot of people to help me with things. Like I didn't go to a doctor if I had to go to a doctor. You know, there's lots of things I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And obviously it gets better over time. Like I never wanted to have to actually converse with people outside of the stables because if I had to talk about something other than horses, I wouldn't have a clue what I was saying, you know. Um, and
Laura,
I think I would.
I'm fluent in English and I struggle when I don't have to talk about horses. So not like,
Fair. That is fair.
like if it's not horses or rugby. Uh,
Yeah, I haven't a clue. Just
I'll smile and
don't
nod. I'll
want to
give you
know about
life.
it.
Yeah, I'm trying,
Yeah,
but like, don't give me a quiz after because it won't have retained in my head.
well, I wasn't listening. Yeah, I was thinking about did
Oh
I when
yeah.
are those shoes due or when they have
But
to be
you know what?
vaccinated?
I was saying to Claire this morning, like I genuinely, and I've often said this, when I die, I want somebody to dissect my brain, right? I want to know what way this thing works, right? So we had a horse, I'm going to say about 8 years ago, and his name was Voiderev. And we didn't have him very long. And he wasn't, now he was quite nice, but I mean, of the thousands of other horses that I've had and had the privilege to work with Claire, would he be the one I'd say was my favourite or the one that stood out? Not
Hmm.
by a long shot. Dream last night, right? That myself and Claire were chasing Voiderev around a field trying to catch him. Now, poor old Voiderev is long gone up to the pearly gates. He is no longer in existence. What on earth would have been going through that made me think of now probably because I was in Claire's today, I was maybe thinking about
Hmm.
Claireism. I don't have no idea. But Void Rev, like what I would love, I'd love to know. And it was even in our first yard. Like we're 5 yards later. So it wasn't even
Yeah,
in the yard we're in now. I'd love to know. I'd love
yeah.
to know that
The
actually
brain is funny. Like some dreams, I'd wake up in the morning and I was like, that was so unnecessary. Like what? Like
oh,
like how did that even come about? Like. And the worst part is that I wake up in the morning and I was like, that's actually hilarious now. I must tell someone that later. And sure you forget it.
I
It's
hate that.
awful. I was
You
like, oh,
know,
that was a good one. But sure, nobody's awake at that hour in the morning for you to
wait.
tell them.
I hate that. You know, that's how Roald Dahl wrote all of his books. He kept a diary beside his bed, and the first thing he'd do in the morning is write down all of his dreams, and that's how he created all of his books. There's a
Yeah, look, I'm too
random
lazy
fact
for
for you
that
there,
now.
Laura.
I'm too lazy for that. I literally, my alarm goes off in the morning, and I'm just like, not again, and then drag myself out of bed.
So now that you're not going to shows and bits as much anymore, or you're not under pressure to go to them as consistently, what does a normal
Mhm.
day look like? Or is there a typical day?
So I'm actually living an hour from work now. I moved to the city. I moved in
Okay.
with my partner. Because I was like, I lived very close to the yard, and it was very easy to get sucked into looking after everything. Like even if it wasn't really my responsibility, it was very easy. Like if something happened or if something,
Yeah.
so I was like, I really need to set a boundary now and with myself really, because actually, even if someone was like, yeah, you don't have to do that,
Mhm.
I would still find a way to do it. Like, um, so I think it was mostly setting a boundary with myself and also finding
Yes.
the balance in life, you know. Um, yeah, I have an apartment now in the city of Graz in Austria. So I drive an hour in the morning. So basically, I've my start time is now an hour later, which actually it's better because sure the horses need an hour to eat in the morning anyway and have their breakfast. So the staff that live on the yard will hay and feed them, and then I'll come in and I mean every and my hours will differ according to if my rider's there and I have to stay later for her, and then I'll start later, or it's just it's a lot easier now. I feel like I don't have as much responsibility, even though I'm still managing the farriers, the vets. I'm still doing all that. I'm driving horses to the clinic for insemination. I still have a lot of work to do, but I don't know. It just feels like a huge weight is lifted off me. And I just don't feel like I don't feel like the weight of the world is on me and me alone, and I'm the only person that can do it, because that's how it felt before. But that was my own brain making that for me.
It's such a horsey
So
thing, though, isn't it? Like I've obviously said it a million times, and I'll say it on my deathbed. Like I adore working for Claire. That is my little happy bubble, being down in the yard. I love being there, but I I think I'm happier now being in it kind of sporadically and doing the best I can to help Claire out in any which way I can,
yeah.
because the pressure is off. I can go in and say to Claire, okay, what's your plan for me today? What do you want me to do? And she will give me my list of whatever it is on any particular day, and I'll go and I'll do it. But I don't feel responsible,
Hmm.
as in like I'm not worrying about what's the trainer going to say about this one. Am I going to do enough? Am I doing too much? When is that next physio visit? Because I don't want to overlap. It's that constant mental
Yeah,
burden that you're talking about. That's very it's really taxing. But you should also be
it
so proud of
is.
yourself, Laura, because those boundaries are really, really hard to make and really hard to stick to.
Hmm.
Like it, as you say, it's
I think
so
being the
easy.
hour away, I think being the hour away is the only way I could do it because my old
Yeah,
apartment was 10 minutes from work. And if anyone was like, oh, he's walking a bit funny in the stable, I'd be like, oh, colic. And then I'd
yeah.
go running to
Oh,
the yard, or so I'm just touch wood.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, my phone. Yeah, so I don't know. And I suppose what also maybe it was a godsend. I actually had only started my new, I suppose my new role, about 5 days before my injury. So, so actually, I think that gave me also a reset because I was gone from the yard then for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I think actually in a way that did help my mindset and no like because that yard had to function without me. So like they were able to do it and I wasn't there and I have to actually live with that.
Sorry. So you have hit on a topic that I have been thinking about an awful lot lately, right? And yards yards are always going to function. And within reason, pretty much everybody is replaceable, right?
Hmm.
But I've been thinking so much about this lately. Like when I decided to take a step back from full time with Claire's, I
Hmm.
really, really struggled with that decision because I obviously Claire is one of my closest friends and I didn't want to let her down. But I also struggled with stepping away from the horses. Like they were my babies and I was minding them and they were, like
Yeah.
what's going to happen now? But do you think is it like do we do it to ourselves? Do we put that burden on
I
ourselves?
think so. I think so because I mean, if you have a system in a yard, just one person coming in as a groom isn't going to change that. Like in my
Mm,
head, I'm like, oh, everything is going to be ruined. But actually, they just have to come in and learn your system. And my rider is great. She's very hands-on in the stable, and
brilliant.
she and she's taken on a huge amount of responsibility now. She makes the riding lists and everything goes through her, and it's a huge amount of pressure off of me too, knowing that it's like there's just someone there that that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and sure, when I had my accident, like a part of me felt so guilty like I was literally lying in bed like maybe 3 or 4 hours after my accident. I was in the hospital, and I was like, right, scrolling Facebook looking for freelance grooms because I knew like at this stage I was out for a while, you know. And like luckily we did manage to find someone, and I did help with that. But once that help was there and once we had a plan, then I just like took a deep breath and was like, great, now I have to live with this for 2 months.
Yeah. But
So
it's mad the way we get so wrapped up in it, you know, and maybe
yeah,
it's a good thing. I mean, it obviously means we care and we want the best for our horses and our riders and the yard and everything, the combination of it all. But it's really, really hard to separate that and to go, okay,
yeah.
like these horses are going to be all right. Like it is going to be okay. And come here, excuse my ignorance and lack of knowledge, but like, do all the groups make riding lists for their riders? Is this standard? Do riders
Uh,
have to say?
no. The writers do, but like if you know if they're away or if, and also like before, it might have
Okay.
been like I would have liaised with the trainer or to
Oh,
be
okay.
fair, most of the time like our horses do a lot of hacking. So
Yeah.
actually, most of
Brilliant.
the time my rider's gone. Okay, like we'll flat them and we'll do whatever, but it's mostly hacking, going for a canter on the canter track, like just keeping them really happy. We try to not have them in the arena so much, and
Love
then
that.
like and then when my rider comes back, they'll do some pole work, flat work, maybe
Yeah.
a jump before the show, and then go to the show. And to be honest, it actually just keeps them really happy, and it just
I love that.
it's just nice for them. So to be fair, we're lucky that the other groom and I like we ride. So like so that means that my rider can take her holidays and she can go do those things, and we can still keep the horses taking over. And so the setup that we have is just nice, you know.
Makes a
Obviously,
massive
every
impact.
yard isn't like that, you know. That's just our
Oh
yard.
yeah.
Like most yards, like most of the international stables, the riders are would do the riding list, and so that's what
Okay.
happens now. Before, yeah, it was just a better
And
system now, I guess.
do the majority of grooms not right? I'm
No,
hesitant to use
the
the word
majority of
just
them
groom.
wouldn't.
I
I
don't mean it
wouldn't.
that way, but
I would say they might ride, but
hmm.
not. They mightn't be allowed in that particular job because a lot
Okay.
of yards actually don't allow their grooms to ride.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I don't want to say from. I suppose it is a safety point of view because they can be
Yeah.
very expensive horses, and and there are a lot of people who I suppose would say their standard is higher than it is, and I mean
Yeah.
they're also very blood horses, and sure, you know yourself.
Yeah, but you get
So
that in every
you know,
yard and every,
yeah,
regardless of what discipline it is, some people might, the probably harsh reality of it is they might be a little bit overfaced with horses. And you want the best for your horse and you want the best for your groom and
yeah,
you want the safety aspect. So I had just never really,
thought
like,
about it. Yeah,
no, because any yard I've worked in, I've ended up riding. Probably
yeah.
shouldn't have in some of them.
I
I
I
was the
suppose
one that
In
measured.
Ireland, I reckon in Ireland there'd probably be a lot more grooms because in Ireland you'd also have a lot of like working students and stuff like that where they would
Yes.
ride in
Yeah.
return for work. Whereas I think out in Europe, normally how the big international stables work is you'll have like your show rider or your top rider, and then they'll have a home rider who rides the horses when
Okay.
they're at shows. And then you'll have a
Oh,
show groom and you'll have a home groom. Whereas like the way we kind of just work is that like we always try to get a groom that can ride or at least hack. You know,
yes.
if they can
Yeah.
at least sit a little buck or a little happy buck
Yeah.
or something like that. Because to be fair, we always go out in pairs. 'Cause
Yeah.
obviously safer as well. So it's just nice to have two people that can ride.
So what would I have never had the privilege to be an international groom. I have barely had the privilege to be a groom in Ireland. I don't Claire lets me flat sometimes. I know, but in all seriousness, I shouldn't actually be slagging because it is
Sometimes.
well, it's a huge, huge job, like the responsibilities and the pressure. But how do you become an international groom? Like, is there a process to it, or is it just a
I suppose
learning?
just like experience, like you, I
Okay.
suppose like you'll start at national level. Like I would have done a lot of national shows in Ireland when I worked there, and I worked for the
Yeah.
Hancocks, and we would have done a lot of show jumping and showing and a bit of
Yeah.
everything. I didn't do, I think I did an international event in Ireland, but like it wasn't like I kind of had like the writer helping me and telling me what I
Yeah.
had to do, and eventing is obviously then very different from show jumping. But I suppose the main difference between international and national is actually mostly just that you have a vet check on the Wednesday before jumping. Like, okay,
Oh,
and you also have some rules and regulations, like you can't take the horses out of certain areas, or
yeah.
like so, or you have to have like your wristbands to get in. Everything it can be closed off,
Yeah.
from the public, and but yeah, there's always a vet check in international before starting. Usually the day before jumping. So every horse has to get to the show, do their trot up, and once they're accepted, then they're good to go for the
And they're good
weekend.
to go.
That's
And
all the big differences, really.
again, excuse my ignorance, but well, actually, this one is actually more so nosiness than experience, to be honest.
Go
You know,
on.
the giant backpack that always has a whip sticking out of the back of it?
Yeah,
Did you
I
see
look
the?
like I'm off to my first day of first class or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of
What's
those.
in the backpack?
Oh,
Does it depend on the horse?
everything you can imagine.
Okay.
In my backpack, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have treats in the side pocket.
Yeah.
I made a huge mistake before. Okay, on my backpack, one side has a pocket for the treats, and the other
Yeah.
side has the pocket for the water. But like,
Oh no.
no, you won't even imagine where this is going.
Oh,
But
okay.
when we're jumping on grass, we have studs. And sure, like sometimes when I'm all caught up in the whole thing, like sure, if I'm taking studs out or I have spare studs, I just throw them in the side and I'm going about. Sure, like I forget, I do be forgetting about things. Like so, one day we went to go take a treat out, and I have one horse who like, as soon as he sees you even going for a treat, he's already at you. Like
Yeah.
we've actually had a couple of situations where he's actually approached people coming out of the ring for treats. Like he is just like, and then if there's no treat, he'll find the nearest tree. He's just, but
Oh my
anyway, so like I was looking for one, I just picked it out, and then he literally went for my hand, and I realized it was a stud. Like,
God.
so anyway, I have to be more careful with that. But yeah, so treats, bear studs, but they should be in a designated area that's not with the treats. Water bottle.
Yeah.
I suppose then there's a pocket for the whip. On the inside, then you some riders tend to either wear no back boots, go into the ring, and then put their back boots on after a couple of warm up jumps.
Okay.
Um, or just have a couple of spare boots if they decide like they sometimes
Yeah.
it depends how the horse is jumping, if they wear different types of boots. Spare reins, you never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might even put in a spare bridle if we decide we're going to change the bit, if a horse, if we're kind of
Yeah.
like,
It
oh,
depended on the day.
and
Yeah.
it's actually it's faster and actually probably safer to have a whole bridle made up than trying to change the
Oh,
bit.
100%.
That
Then to be changing
so
bits. Yeah. That's very faffy.
uh waterproof pants to go over my rider's jaws, just in case. Sometimes a jacket or airbag, towels. Like there's just so much, and
Yeah.
even when it's hot, then you have to bring a water bucket with you too. So a towel in your water bucket, and so you actually you need a big bag. You actually need a big bag, and even at that, I'm probably still missing things. Like sometimes I'll have tape in, like it's
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you should have tape in, but yeah, it's just there's just lots of
And
stuff.
20 million spare platinum bands because
Oh,
that man's
selection of
just like
spurs
disappear.
and the
Oh,
brush
yeah.
for the boots. Every like that you can. The list goes on. I'm kind of like, what's in my groom's bag? Half the time I leave everything in there, and then I just have a quick check before I
And then,
go. So I have
yeah.
one for the groom's bag, and then so I just have one extra of each things that I need. So yeah, that's
Well, thank you for my curiosity because like oftentimes I've been going, I wonder what's actually
what's
in that.
actually in there.
Like, yeah. And
Yeah, lots of
someday
stuff.
I don't want the pressure of grooming because I'd be afraid it'd go wrong. But I just want to walk around with the backpack. So the next time you're in Ireland, Laura, and there's an event, I'm just going to follow you
I'll
right.
bring the backpack. Yeah. It's like a gym
Just
workout. Like I'd say it weighs a good 5 kgs, I'd say. Like, and sure, you actually become, you don't even notice you have it on after a while. Like you're just strolling around with it, and sure.
it's adrenaline as well. You're just going and trying to mind your rider, mind your horse, get
Yeah, you're
everything
sure
right,
you
get
forget it.
everything
You
going.
forget about it. Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
a little bit
So,
like racing, I suppose, in a way. Like you'd be coming down and you have so very much stuff,
but
but you
sure, they're
forget.
all very similar. You know, the horses need the same things. Like they're all the same animals. Like they,
I know,
um,
but like I'm trying to do a bit of a cull at the minute, Laura, because I'm an awful hoarder with horsey stuff. I'm terrible. Like,
just as well
and
you clarified what colour you were doing there.
no, it's a tack cull. Like it's a tack cull. We're okay. But I mean, I have two pony saddles. Like, what would do two pony saddles? Now, within saying that, one of them I will keep because one of them was June's very first saddle. And it was my very first
Hmm.
saddle. So that one's not going anywhere. I'm a little bit tempted. Did you see the lady? I don't know, she keeps coming up on either Instagram or Facebook, but she's making like satchel handbags, but she makes them from your old saddles, so you can keep
Yes,
the.
yes, I did see it on TikTok. I think that's
Yeah,
adorable.
I would,
Yeah.
but I have to put a bit of thought into it because I'd cry if it went wrong. Anyway, I like the amount of stuff, the silly amount of stuff. So my grooming bag is cut in half. My show and stuff is cut in half. Probably because half of it actually doesn't fit me anymore, so I have to go and buy new stuff. But that's just the way it's going to be now. That's not going to worry about it. That's how it is. So
Oh, stop.
if somebody was going, if somebody wanted to go and become, I'm not even going to say an international groom. I'm going to say a groom, and
A
then
groom.
maybe with the possibility to travel. What would be the one piece of advice that you would have liked to have been told at the start?
Good question. Um, I think you will never know enough. I think just literally soak it all up like a sponge, every bit of
I love
information.
that.
Like
Yeah.
like when I first came to Austria, I thought I actually knew quite a lot. Like not saying that I like that I knew everything, and but like I thought I knew a lot in terms
Yeah.
of the care, but actually I'm just learning every day. I'm learning new stuff. I'm like I I really enjoy meeting all of our vets and chiropractors, and like they're fantastic people, and even just like learning things off them, and then I can learn to do specific movements if a horse has a tight shoulder and they're not coming, and you know, so I've learned a lot in terms of like just taking care of them better, you know. So it's
Love that. I
yeah,
absolutely love that.
I think just soak it all up
I
like a
think we
sponge
can
and you're
take
never
that
done learning.
for all disciplines, though, can't we? Like
Yeah, for sure.
we will never know it all. Ever. Even the
No,
most
never.
talented, successful people I know. And it's probably
No,
one
you'll
of the
never know.
reasons they are so talented and successful because they constantly want to stay learning and want to improve, if truth be
Exactly,
told.
and you learn so much from other people, like, because then you know you might have one way of doing something, and someone else has a different way, and you're like, actually, Jesus, that might actually be more efficient doing it that way, like, you know.
Yeah, oh, I love
So
that. I
it's
love it.
fantastic.
We have a physio that comes in and we're lucky to get him now, to be honest. But every time he steps foot into the yard, Laura, he blows my mind. Every time. Like
Yeah,
he's looking at horses that I could have been standing watching going around the walker for half an hour and thinking they're sound, that's fine, they're great, everything looks fine. And he'll say to me, oh, no, it's a little bit here, or a little bit back there, or wait.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
like genuinely, I'll be going, yeah, they're sound. Good. But the way he looks at things, I'd listen to him
yeah,
all day. So that's a very sound piece of advice. I like that.
yeah,
Right.
for
I
sure.
am going to fire 3 quick fire round questions at you.
Oh no, this is the worst part of it all. Go on.
No, these are funny ones, to be fair. Blah, blah, blah. What is your guilty pleasure TV show? Or do you have time to have a guilty pleasure TV show?
I'm not gonna lie. there's actually one TV show that I hate telling people I watch,
Oh God.
and that is Heartland. I actually love it.
But I
Love it.
love
Hate telling people I watch it because it's something I started watching when I was 12. And it's actually like, but I love it. It's so good. I
it is right.
literally, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, no,
Everybody
shouldn't be
should watch
ashamed of that
Heartland.
one. It's much better than Judge Judy. Everybody knows my Judge Judy obsession at this stage, so I can't even slag you about that one. Do you believe in star signs? And what is yours?
Mine is Aquarius. I don't, but I have to listen to it every day because herself does. So
Oh, really?
I always get sent Instagram posts. So so,
Love that.
I
And would she, this
yeah.
always fascinates me, right? So does she have like one particular person that she likes to get the star sign from, or is it just
No,
a
just
general
whatever pops up. Just whatever pops up, and there could be something being like, oh, like this star sign and this star sign are so meant to be, and I'm just like, sure, like that like how many people could have scrolled past that and it's just suited them, like but each to their own, whatever they're into.
Listen, whatever keeps the peace. For some reason, I don't know what side of TikTok I have hit, but it's all your time of birth. This is the latest thing. Like I don't know. I'm
I don't know
superstitious.
what's on your FYP.
Oh, mad things like but tractors and star signs and horses. It's generally what is coming up at the minute, and anything related to Carlo.
Interesting. What a
There's not very much
combination.
happens in Carlo, to be fair. So, but I'm getting a good rundown of everything that is. It's all
Yeah,
appearing up
that's
there.
good.
I don't know what side of it I've hit, but I'll have to start changing up the algorithm or something. And I also hit a weird side of book talk there for a while that I was not very comfortable with. So I'm glad that that one has disappeared.
Just start searching up random things and just hope to God it is.
Yeah, just gonna have yeah, exactly. Actually, I was laughing this morning because Fionn sent me was it a rug? It was a rug. It was a John Deere rug, and he really wants it. And
Love
he
it.
said,
Love
yeah,
it.
it is actually quite cool to be fair. But he said, how many likes do I have to get on my next TikTok video for you to get me this rug? And I was like, oh, is this what we're doing now? Like, is this a thing? So of course, me was like, oh, 200. Yeah, yeah. I then looked back at his TikTok page, and the
Too
majority
little.
of
Too
his
little.
videos get a couple of thousand. Like, God, maybe he'll take over the Equitas one
No,
for a
no, oh
bit.
no. I actually have I have a good laugh watching those. Like someone's like, oh, could really do with a trip to Bali. How many likes and whatever, and then you have like all the airlines really get on board with them. And they're just like two wee comments on it. It's so good.
Or
I
what are
really
the,
enjoy it. Like,
the ones like, I'm going on a 9-hour flight. How many companies can I get to comment on this? I
yeah,
would be sweating. Imagine if you didn't get, like, I'd be the one that didn't get any. That'd be mortified.
it's
Like,
fine. You
going,
just delete it once you land. Like, it's fine.
oh, out the gap. Oh, golly. Um, oh, did you have posters on your wall when you were growing up?
I did. I got them from my horse and pony
My
magazine
horse and
or
pony.
one of those things. I swear to you, I was actually just when you said it, I was like, I just got like this reminiscent flashback of I was the youngest, so I was in the box room of the house. I had a purple groovy chicks kind of vibe theme going
Oh,
on, and
very
then
cheap.
I know I was spoiled.
You're
Uh,
supposed to back now. Wow.
I told
Oh,
you.
I'm
And then
jealous. I always wanted
I had
that
like
eventually.
I had like all the Whittaker brothers I think up on the wall and just horses and stuff. I mean, I don't know how long it lasted. Like, I definitely didn't have it after, I'm going to say, after first year of school, I'd say, or
Yeah.
secondary school. I think they all started to fade then, and I didn't really,
I think that's the kind of turning point, really, isn't it? Like you
yeah.
become either like that horsey girl or too cool. Like
Oh,
I don't know.
I was already that. I got labeled that in like second class. I was
The
well
horsey
ahead.
girl. Did you?
Oh, stop. Sure, it was my own doing. Like, it was my own doing. Like, but sure, I didn't know how to hold a normal conversation, but sure, I still do it now. Like, I remember when my sister was pregnant on her last child, I think, and she said something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that does be happening with the mares as well." She was like, "Will you stop? Like, will you stop comparing me to a fucking horse?" Like, but sure,
But it's automatic, isn't it? We just do
but
like
sure,
it's
it is, but sure, my family aren't horsey people either. So, like, sure,
yeah.
no, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, I was telling my brothers about how we do sheath cleaning. Well, their faces was. So yeah, it's nice to
No, I'm
enlighten
not
them
gonna
every now and
lie.
again.
Sometimes when people are annoying me about horses, are they, you know, the way you'll always get that one person that's like, oh, do you know, all horsey people are snobby or they're all entitled or we're quite, which I always find fascinating. They all think we're wealthy. We're never wealthy because we spend it all on the
Yeah,
bloody
whatever.
horses. But every now and again, I'll throw in a good old sheath cleaning story just to level the old playing field there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
literally.
hold
Yeah,
on there.
that's the worst job in the world. And I'd say once I do all the geldings, I say the next 3 times I bring them into the cross ties to get them ready for riding, and their schlong is just out again. Like, I'm like, boys, like, behave yourselves. And we don't have a HR department, like, so I can't even report it.
You can't complain. Actually, the next time you're talking to
Awful.
Shane, you should ask him, does he know what sheath cleaning is? Just for the pure giggle. I don't know if we've ever
Oh
moved on.
no, what I should actually just do is just get a YouTube and send in the link. Say nothing. Just, just, just send the link in silence. And then,
Just randomly out of nowhere. We're like, there you go.
oh, stop.
Surprise. I don't ever remember that one coming up now, to be fair, but it is quite possible it did at some stage.
Yeah.
So, come here. What are your rights and wrongs for this week, my dear?
I would say my ride is definitely getting my arse back in gear and getting back involved with Equitas. Um,
We love that.
yeah, I
We
think
love
I need my
that.
spark back in action. Sure, maybe I'll come up with a couple of ideas and write some stuff. I'm just,
Oh, we
I think
love
when you
that.
get so, I think when you get so set in, like, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I do, you just forget about all those extra things you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure then once you're reminded, you're like, yeah, I used to do that, sure. That was great crack. So yeah, I must do that. And I suppose the only wrong so far was just my back giving me a bit of trouble, but sure, not, and the heat. Oh my God, the heat this week. I actually we got a thunderstorm this yesterday, and it's actually great because now I can actually sleep
Oh,
without
yeah.
sweating
Sometimes
my
that's
balls
lovely,
off.
isn't it? Clears it all off.
Oh, it was
Gets
great.
rid of
Yeah.
that sticky, humid horribleness. Like,
Yeah, we were
that's
hitting 35 degrees there at one point, like, and having to go into work at 4:30 in the morning to get the horses done was just, so now it's actually ideal.
that's
Now
tough.
I can actually
Yeah.
go back in at a normal time.
Yeah, no, that's very tough.
Yeah.
Well, my ride of the week, I don't think, oh well. Hmm, this could be right or wrong, actually. I'm not very sure which. No, it is actually right. I am exceedingly proud. So my term as president for the rugby club was up officially last Friday. And I got to hand over the blazer to one of my best friends in the world and got to stick on
Oh,
her
that's
blazer to
cute.
become Rugby Club president for the year. So that was it, like the two of
That's
us were
very
kind of
cute.
standing looking at each other going, how did we end up here, Batman? Like, what? This is not expected. But it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm so proud of her. She
That
is
is lovely.
and you know what, Laura, she's the type of person that she worked really, really, really hard and she's really determined,
Hmm.
but she has no concept of how good she is. She has no
And
idea. Like,
it
so
disappoints
she,
you when I see that because you just want to shake them and be like, get.
oh, I literally just like, she keeps saying to me, well, like, you'll be beside me, won't you? And I'm like, I will, of course I will. But you don't need me, my dear. Like, you are
Yeah.
more than capable of doing any of this and more.
Hmm.
Like, she's an absolute rock star. And actually, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to do 2 rides this week because Life is short. Fuck it. Why
Because
not?
you can. You're the host. Because you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't go live on Instagram, but I can do 2 rides a week.
Make up for it. It'll make up for it. It's fine. It's fine.
Theo is getting a set of shoes back on him tomorrow, so we can start hacking.
That's
So I
exciting.
cannot
That's exciting.
wait. Yeah.
I want
So
a video.
I can't. I actually genuinely, like, I know obviously I'm very lucky and like I get to ride out with and work and kind of choose to a certain extent what I want to ride, what I don't ride. But golly, I've missed them. I've missed just being able to switch off the brain and go for an Alwamas and not worry about what's happening and the, like, am I doing enough to muscle? Just literally being able to just
when it's your own horse. When it's your own horse, you can literally just, doesn't matter.
Just I don't care if we do 10 minutes tomorrow and we do an hour the next day, we do nothing the day after. I don't care. I just want to be able to sit back up and enjoy my horse. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really want to. I've just looked out my window and my yard is absolutely full to the neck of people. They were not out there 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
They saw our live stream and they were like, gotta go find that queen.
Oh, golly. Well, they're all related to me, I think. Anyway, looked like they're having a little party outside.
Yeah, party you weren't invited to. That's sad.
I wasn't invited to. Yeah. You know, I got my glass of wine now, tell them what's going on. But yes, that I'm just looking forward to getting back to be honest. Like, just doing a bit. Even like the likes of this evening, it's such a gorgeous evening. Like, you'd love to just be able to go out and just go for an Alwamas. Switch off the head for a while, turn off the laptop. Oh, and like, I know he wasn't the quickest in the world, but boy, Jesus, he feels quite sick. 73 of them at their legs. I wouldn't want him any quicker now, to be honest. I'm pretty okay. Well, Laura, do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure. You're a tonic, but I love getting to chat to you.
It's been lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. And thank you.
We're very, very lucky to have all of our advisory board, but I know I shouldn't be saying it, but you're holding out a special place, Laura. I'm very, very proud of you. Yeah, I am. I'm very proud of what you've done and the conversations you started.
Thank you.
And you should be too. Very, very proud.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for joining in. And this will be on Spotify and YouTube, and I will upload it onto Instagram during the week. And if you have any questions for Laura or want to know any more about becoming a groom or moving country, Laura, where is the best place that people can have a chat to you?
You can drop me a message on Instagram. I'm sure it'll be put in the bio, but it's Laura Jackson _95.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll chat to you all again soon.